What's up, everybody? This is Jeff Hayes again. And, of course, my mother, if you remember the last video, my mother, I took her to Texoma Medical Center to get her away from the pill-popping people that like to dope up my mother at Alliance Health. Found out some interesting things. Now, here's APS is not officially involved, but they're kind of involved. I never received any paperwork from them, and when I found out that my mother was picked up and Sarah Morris had given my mother to strangers when legally she can't do that. APS never got a court order or court papers, and I've never been served with anything to supersede my authority. And the longest time they didn't have a problem with it. But since they got mad when I took her out of the Alliance, I took her to Texoma, I guess. I don't care, because, she's not supposed to be being doped up anyway. And Kerry Wilson is the district supervisor of APS here. And then you got Katie Mel, or whatever her last name is. Now these are some of the things that are actually the procedures that they're actually supposed to be doing. And none of this was done. I mean, I was notified or anything. They told Sarah something, and I told Sarah, I said, unless they got court paperwork, don't do it. Don't release them. Because there'll be trouble. So they took my mom, because I went to call a few days ago, and Sarah Morris was being spiteful and like, well, I'm not going to tell you, because I was like, where's my mom? And she's like, well, you have to talk to APS, and APS has just been ignoring me, which is, so they're working under the table here. They're not doing it legal, because I haven't been served with any paperwork, and they're going to get into trouble here. And of course, Bagger, I've always suspected him of something. I found out from medical people that when you're not supposed to give Seroquel to people that have kidney problems. It's a strict no-no. Yet he prescribed it to my mom, and they were giving it to her at the hospital. That's why I pulled her out. I mean, there's just too many things that just don't add up, which makes me think there's something going on here. They actually have like an insurance scam or something against the old people, elderly people. I mean, and I wouldn't put it past them in this area. This place is so corrupt around here. And they probably figured my mom was living alone, plus the fact that I let everybody know what Bagger did by being dereliction of duty and negligent, to where my mom's head got screwed up. And he's supposed to be a doctor. He's supposed to be paid. That's his job, is pay attention to stuff like that, and not tell anybody just to see her get her head messed up. I don't know if you had anything against her or not, but he's someone not to turn your back on. Now this is a complaint form I'm turning in. I did a online thing with the hospital, and they called me back today, and they're going to check into it. I told them, talk to that Sarah Wilson or Sarah Morris. She knows, because you're going to see part of the Texoma Medical Center paperwork here towards the end of this video. But this is the thing that gets me. Is you can't just take something like somebody's mom out of the hospital unless you have court paperwork and not tell them. It's real suspicious and odd. So my mom's probably afraid now. She thinks her family's abandoned her. And these idiots and criminals at APS don't even care about the mental anguish that my mom's going through, which pisses me off. They're just idiots, man. They're just spiteful little idiots. They're not doing their job properly, and that's common around this area with most state workers. So I got the form. See, shouldn't Bagger have known not to give Seroquel to patients with kidney problems? They probably gave her the kidney problems. I'm starting to think that now too. And she probably didn't need the dialysis port installed. If they would have not gave her all this medication that they were trying to get on her, that's why my mom would be refusing this stuff. It makes me wonder if they're just purposely target certain elderly people and mess them up, and then that way they put them in a home, and if they diagnose them with dementia, then the poor elderly adult doesn't have any way to complain because nobody will believe him because he's got dementia. He's been diagnosed with dementia, which is, like cover your back, Bagger kind of thing. When I talked to him after I picked my mom up 4 years ago from the hospital, he said, yeah, and I diagnosed her with dementia. And I said, well, isn't that convenient for you? Stick her in a home and use up all her insurance and do all kinds of tests on her that she doesn't need just to suck up her insurance. I mean, it's pathetic what people do for a buck. But you're not going to use my mom. I'm going to find her, and these people are going to get in trouble. That's stupid. In today's day and age, you got rogue APS workers not following their own procedure, kidnapping elderly adults on the word of somebody else. And none of it was done by the court. I wasn't served with any paperwork. The hospital wasn't served with any paperwork because I talked to their person earlier today. They called me. There's another place where I'm going to investigate, go to. Plus, I'm going to go to the Department of Justice. And the whole meantime, somebody better come up with, where my mom is. Or else I'm going to have, push for, I want people put behind bars. Causing anguish, mental anguish to elderly people. And these are people they're supposed to be protecting, and they're not. They're just spiteful little whatever. But yet, they're typical what you'd find in certain state positions. Most of the senators and congressmen are corrupt. The district judges around here are corrupt. DA's corrupt. That's why I'm not even going to bother going through any channels here. I'm just going to go right over their head, straight to all federal. And I can't believe that they had gutsy enough to do this. So they're checking into it in Texas at the hospital there. That Sarah Morris, she gets her credit on this video. Julia Swink gets her credit. Katie gets her credit. Kerry gets her credit. And see, this is a red flag. There's a doctor that's prescribing and handing out Seroquel to patients that have kidney problems as a sleeping aid. That's what the nurse told me. And Seroquel is not a sleeping aid. It's a mind-altering drug. And a real medical professional I talked to stated that you're not supposed to give it to people with kidney problems at all. See, this is what makes me wonder if they didn't purposely damage my mom's kidneys. The other red flag is the protection service people who either don't know how to investigate cases correctly, which I believe that, or don't care because they're too busy abusing the authority of their position. I believe that too. I believe it's both causes. And they're harming the very people that they're supposed to be protecting. It's just, they're just spiteful little girls. That's all they are. And they're probably doing this just to get even with me for some reason, which is another unprofessional and criminal thing to harm an elderly person just for personal vengeance against their son or something like that. They're trying to teach me a lesson. They're trying to teach me the same one that when Campbell looked at me when I was in court with him back in 2014. He said, "This is going to teach you a lesson." I said, "Yep, taught me you're a crook." Now see, there's other complaints of people here that, online about APS. There's not the same APS people, but in this one, the people with the APS wouldn't do anything. So you got APS people that are doing everything they shouldn't do, like the ones here. It's a power kick. And then you got the ones that these guys are talking about that aren't doing anything except displacing people. And that's what they did with my mom. They took her out of her home where family was taking care of her. She was getting 24-hour retention, someone to talk to all the time. She'd come in my room, we'd sit, she'd watch me play video games in between, taking care of her and stuff in the mornings and stuff like this. And we'd talk. And, they don't do that at no home or anything like that. My mom doesn't want to go to a home. And she can speak for herself if they keep her off the freaking drugs. It's just a sad thing. And if something happens to my mom, I'm going to make sure that somebody gets a felony life endangerment and felony manslaughter or murder. I want murder if my mom ended up getting hurt really bad because of these idiots. I want these people to be tried with murder. That's basically what they do, is they took an elderly person out of their safety of their home while they were at a hospital visit and just kidnapped them, basically abducted them. See, this is one I filled out at TMC. There's the little cretins right there, cronies, the criminals, so to say. There's Katie, had an Abby chick or something like that. I forget what her name exactly was. Got on there using Katie's phone, called me and started crapping me out over something. She was about ignorant. But that's just how this APS is down here, man. It's run by immature people that don't have any life experience to base anything off of, and they don't investigate nothing. The first time I had a dealing with Julie, she only talked to one person, and that was it. She didn't even talk to my mom or anything. How are you going to do an investigation talking to only one person? But see, there's also discrimination too. That's involved here too. I know it is. I wonder if these people know what's going on at their hospital leadership, knowing that their caseworkers or case managers are letting their patients being taken off by strangers instead of family members. Because see, I'm immediate family. Only a court order could supersede my claim as caregiver to my mom. See, and here's a job description for a case manager. And I didn't see anywhere in there where it says that you take it upon yourself to listen to a bunch of idiots at APS who don't have any court paperwork and abduct somebody's mother without telling the person, the family member. See, that's all sounds illegal as hell to me. And it's also bad for business. So, yep, got me worried about my mom. And these people are still hiding. See, and this is when I talked to Sarah a few days ago. She just, didn't act like she cared. And see, here's information for the patients as part of their online thing. And it's my belief that they do this on purpose. To my mom, is what my belief is that they gave her the Seroquel, they screwed up her kidneys on purpose. And after they screwed up her kidneys, they kept giving her Seroquel. And when I took her off of it, and I told Julius Swink about Julius was going to get me for neglect. I said, man, are you stupid or what? This is not like heart medicine or something like that. This is a mind-altering drug, and my mom doesn't need it. Well, the doctor prescribed it. Just because they're a doctor doesn't mean they know what they're doing, or they've got the best intentions of their patient. Just like Campbell and Redmond, when I went before them, Campbell broke not only his oath of office, his oath to uphold and defend and the Constitution by violating my constitutional rights, my civil rights, and he broke a bunch of Oklahoma laws too. He didn't care. Redmond did the same. She perjured herself in court. I turned him into the Bar Association, both of them, and I turned Campbell into the COJC several times. And they just worthless too. So I made a video about them too, turn them in. See, now when they discharge you, it's supposed to see where it says physician decides when you're ready to go home and you're discharged, and waiting for your family, not strangers, family members or friends, to help you with your transportation. And the case manager is supposed to let me know when I call up there, when are they gonna soon be, releasing her or anything like that. That's part of their job, is being liaisons to, between the family and the hospital and the patient, because you can't always get a hold of doctors because they have this self-importance thing. I know the ones in Durant do. I don't know what good a couple of them are doing except for causing more problems than they're worth. I can name one right off the bat. Matter of fact, he's been named in this video. So that's basically it, man. Now there are those at the hospital, because they make my mom bedridden and everything, and say that she can't speak for herself. Well, she does that on purpose because she turns inward on herself. She doesn't like being at the hospital. She doesn't want to talk to these people. They've hurt her more than helped her at the hospital here in Durant. And the APS people are just idiots and negligent in their job. And we're going to do something about that. Yep, they sure are. And I'm going to find out what happened to my mom. So if anybody knows, let me know. I hope you guys, this doesn't happen to you. But it seems that they're trying to screw with me and my mom again. You guys have a good day now.